Well, hello.
Hey. Sorry, I'm trying to get everything sent out. What's up, Susan? How are you doing?
Hello, hello, hello.
Hello. Guys, please share this out. Fuck the algorithms. Give us one moment because we're going to do the same.
Yeah.
Hello, Susan! 2 Susans right now. What's up? It's the tale of 2 Susans. Thank you. And hopefully I sent this out right. And here we go. Hey, Calvin, what's up? How are you doing? Thank you so much, Susan. And I am also going to share on my end because, that's the right thing to do.
That's the right thing to do.
It is the right thing to do.
We actually have room now.
Watching Roseanne. I love that show.
Oh,
I love that show.
I refuse to watch it.
I refuse to watch the Connors.
The Connors. I'm not doing it. Mm-mm.
What's up, Christopher? How are you?
That is Roseanne Barr's show, and it was awesome with her.
Mm-hmm.
Absolutely awesome.
Ooh, are you guys in your new studio?
Yes. I put up lighting today. That's why it's so bright in here. I don't know if I could change it. Wait a second.
We got new lighting.
Yeah, can you
Oh, I'm so sorry to hear that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
What? Can I what?
Can
I what?
There we go. Oh, that's better. That's a little better. What do you think?
Yeah, that works.
Or we can go yellow.
I vote blue.
Blue, that's blue. Oh, it's not bad.
It's my hair glowing.
The issue is, look, watch, if you do this, you guys are going to see something cool. The issue is our...
Make that big.
There we go. See, now it works.
Look, it makes my hair glow.
Yeah. But we have everything set up now so we can actually, I need to record videos and stuff like that or make stuff. I have lighting for it now. I'm going to go back to the other one. Maybe red. There we go. Red's cool. Because this is Ripley red.
I need a massage too. Watching the good Batman. Nice. Michael Keaton.
Yeah. Did you see, I think I showed you, Mikey, the new Batman or the new Flash and Michael Keaton. Do I still have it on here? Do we still have it on here? I thought I did. Let's see here. But Michael Keaton, they showed him in his new bat suit, or back in the 1989 bat suit. Yeah, I took it down. But you can go Google it right now. You can find it. It's so cool. It sent goosebumps down my, spine. Just to see Michael Keaton back. But
on a side note, guys, look. Within that same era. Go ahead.
No, go ahead.
No, you said you actually like...
go ahead.
No, I was just pointing.
Babe, go ahead.
I was literally just pointing at my shirt.
No, I forgot what I was saying.
I'm sorry. I didn't mean to do that. I was just pointing at my shirt. Yes. Mine glows in black light.
Mm-hmm.
Yes. Please be generous with the reactions. Share. Please.
Yeah.
All right. So tonight we're going to be covering a couple subjects. One of them is going to be Joeseph Kallinger. Kallinger, whatever. And the other one we're going to talk about, which is first, we're going to be talking about 10 absolutely strange ways that brutal murderers got caught. So, yeah, let's get started. All right, so from fingerprints to forensic science to good old-fashioned intuition, there have been many ways that murderers have been caught. Archaeological sites show that murder has been with us since the very beginning of human history. Obviously. Some murders have taken decades to be solved, and we've talked about that. But
for the most part, it's like with Rodney Alcala. Like, one, he didn't talk about it. Two, they had to wait for they did collect DNA evidence back in like the 70s, but they weren't able to process it until the 2000s, and then that's when he got retried for murder again. And that's usually what happens.
There's no reason ever not to be.
Oh,
you always deserve it. You are fantastic. Yeah. You are wonderful.
We're only mean to the people who deserve it, and they already know who they are. Over at Bitch and all that stuff. Bitch 3 or whatever the fuck they're called.
I don't fucking know anymore.
Florida boy, he can go fuck himself.
Yeah, getting random phone calls in the middle of the night telling us to fuck off.
Yeah, by the way, guys, if you guys want to see some amusing shit, that's story time is coming.
Yeah.
With all those text messages. He told me to take screenshots. He did. Take screenshots and show it off. So all that's coming.
Yeah. Anyway, sorry for our tangent. It's been quite a week. So, some of them took decades. The original Night Stalker, Joseph D'Angelo, he was 72 when he got caught.
Well, one of the things actually with Joseph D'Angelo that I actually do want to cover, or I think it was Kenneth Bianchi, the girlfriend that was actually his girlfriend that he got in prison, who went to go. Okay, so basically what happened was
that's Bianchi. That's not him. Yeah, you're right.
So basically what happened was he took his DNA evidence, basically sperm and pubic hair, gave it to her when she was meeting him basically to write a play and all this other stuff, and she was already a little messed up to begin with, and gave him all that. Then she goes up to Washington and tries to kill someone there to plant the DNA evidence up there or whatever it was to prove that it's actually someone else while he's in prison.
But
it's the 70s. It was supposed to be a copycat killer or whatever, and their logic, that would get him off and get him out of prison.
That makes it worse.
Well, what happened was that she goes up there and she tries to kill the person, fails at it, gets put in jail for the rest of her life, or with the possibility of parole.
Yeah. And
then there's a whole story on that. She does eventually get out, and she does change her life.
Yeah.
So,
but that was Kenneth Bianchi. You were right. All right, so modern day technology with DNA testing and other creative detective work, it's becoming increasingly easy for murderers to be caught.
Yeah. Oh yeah.
There's still about 30 serial killers in the United States at any given time. But they're not as long running as they used to be.
I'm sorry. I was about to share.
Hey Joey, what's up?
I was about to share this out to
old gods on accident.
No. Well, I was about to just share it out to friends and off my messenger. Just Susan Hall, real fast. I just looked 43 minutes ago. 6 days till season 3 of Old Gods of Appalachia.
Okay,
we freaking love that show so much.
All right, let's get back into this. Yeah. So let's start with this. So let's start on number 10. Ready? Joseph Paul Franklin, an American serial killer who committed his first murder in 1977, which was during the golden age for serial killers.
The 70s, and then the downhill was going in the 80s. And actually the age of the serial killer actually more than likely ended with what's her face? Eileen Wuornos. That was one of the last people that was actually getting away with it for a long time. So.
Yeah. So he was a white supremacist, a neo-Nazi, looked up to Joseph Goebbels, the Nazi who killed his own children with suicide capsules.
What a douche.
Yeah.
I mean, you're already bad enough because you're a douchebag Nazi, and then all of a sudden you do this.
Yeah, exactly. He started off with minor assaults using pepper spray on people of color, then graduated to robbery and eventually murder, using a hunting rifle as his tool to claim the lives of 20 people and injure several more. He was considered to be a mission killer. He would fight against people that were not white. That was his MO. On October 8th, 1977, Franklin would commit the crime that he would later be sentenced to die for. He climbed a telephone pole by hammering 25-centimeter nails, which is 10-inch nails, into the pole, setting up a makeshift gun rest, and then firing and killing a man who was leaving a synagogue. But Franklin would mark a major change in the way criminals were captured by being one of the first notable serial killers to be caught by using a criminal profile, like by the BAU and the FBI.
What's the BAU again?
The Behavioral Analysis Unit.
Oh, okay. In the FBI, okay.
Yeah.
That was what's his face? That's what I think Mindhunter is based on.
Yeah. That was the beginning of the BAU.
I freaking love Mindhunter too. I wish
and serial killer profiling and all of that.
Yeah.
So Franklin was able to evade detection for a few years, but the police officers noted that his gun in his car, or saw the gun in his car when they pulled him over, ultimately arresting him. He was brought in for questioning on warrants, but escaped police custody. The FBI, however, had their man, or so they were pretty certain from the profiling. They noted two details which helped them pin Franklin for the murders. His tattoos, which were provocative and racist, and his drifter lifestyle, which helped him evade capture, but also forced him to rely on getting paid for odd-end jobs. And one of those odd-end jobs was donating blood.
Let's just go and give our DNA evidence out everywhere.
And so Franklin was actually recognized by somebody at the blood bank who turned in the blood donation to the FBI. And that ended up being his downfall. They were able to connect the DNA from his blood donation to the murders, to the evidence.
Wow.
Yep. All right. So Richard Chase, we've talked about him before. Richard Chase, otherwise known as the Vampire of Sacramento, was a serial killer from Northern California, and he was quite literally a vampire. I mean, he was a complete oddity. He was very schizophrenic. He had a lot of different issues.
The reason why he was actually considered a vampire, though, was because he felt that if a door was unlocked, then they were giving him permission to come in. That's the main reason why they call him the Vampire of Sacramento.
Well, also he thought that his blood was unclean and he needed to replace it with clean blood. That was part of it.
Yeah, he thought his blood was like he needed more blood and all this other stuff. It was weird.
So in that, he not only believed that the drinking of blood to be happy, but he delusionally believed that it was the only thing that would make him and keep him well. So he would suffer from a lot of bouts of hypochondria, which in reality he was actually schizophrenic. And so it was slight hypochondria and slight delusion, obviously. Chase thought that the only thing that would cure him of various illnesses that he thought that he had was to inject himself with the blood of an animal in some cases, or, a human. He was regularly injecting himself with rabbit blood.
It wasn't regularly, actually. That's what he did it once.
Oh, didn't he get like super sick?
He got he got blood poisoning and stuff because you can't put rabbit blood in your system. He got really, really, really sick from it.
Oh yeah. Okay. So. All right. So ultimately, as you know, when we spoke about him before, he killed about 6 people. He would test front doors at random, and if he found one unlocked, he would go inside and murder whoever lived there to consume their blood. The guy was obsessed with blood. So to a point of being hospitalized for injecting himself with that rabbit blood.
Well, he had a weird ritual with how he would remove organs and stuff like that, and actually pull out the cavity and stuff like that, and he would leave basically like kidneys and stuff like that in there. He wouldn't do anything else, but then that's where his weird ritual of basically like defecating in the body and all that stuff came in.
Yeah.
And it I mean, he was completely schizophrenic, like who we're going to talk about here, Joseph Kallinger. But everything he did took place in a span of like, I think
it wasn't very long.
2 weeks.
Yeah.
And the bulk of his murder was in the span of like 2 days. He was more of a spree killer than anything else.
Well, so the guy was obsessed with blood, but basically in the end, he was caught by an unusual turn of events. A young woman that he had gone to high school with recognized him when he approached her car. He had blood stains on his shirt. She notified the police of her suspicions that Richard Chase was actually the vampire who'd been murdering people. And the police were able to track him down to his apartment where they found his blood-soaked sweatshirt. He was brought to trial, surprisingly found competent, and sentenced to die. But instead of dying by the hand of, the justice system, he overdosed in 1980 while in prison. So let's go into Gordon Veitch. So unlike the other people that are in the list here, he wasn't really a serial killer, but he did murder somebody in Scotland. So on March 15, 2013, he killed Brian Bathgate with a knife. After Veitch stabbed Bathgate in the neck and fled the scene, an 8-month-long investigation ensued in which detectives tried to piece together what even happened on that night. Left behind, unbeknownst to Veitch, though. Veitch is a plant, thank you.
No, I was just laughing at the fact. It's unbeknownst to that. It almost sounded like that bitch.
Unbeknownst to that bitch, was the one thing that would get him caught through a new means of investigative analysis. His footprint.
What year was this? 2013.
I'm not talking his shoe print. Well, I'm talking footprint, similar to doing the fingerprinting.
Well, the lines in your foot are going to be unique to you.
Exactly. So.
But honestly, if you're going to do any killing like that, wouldn't you just? If I were a killer,
ironworker boots.
Not just ironworker boots. I would just go out and just buy a generic shoe that I would find out the most popular shoe and go get it.
Ironworker boots have no track.
Yeah.
But anyway, Gordon Veitch left a bloody footprint, multiple bloody footprints at the scene, and forensics were able to determine his specific walk, his right foot pointed outward, the match of the footprints, like the actual footprints of this crime scene, and it actually gained the conviction. Under Scottish law, he was sentenced to a minimum of 16 years in prison.
If it was Norwegian law, he would have been a maximum of 21 plus 1 years.
This one makes me think of Chicago. Pop. 6. Squish.
Oh, the movie. I was like,
What was it?
Is there pop in Chicago?
Anyway. No, it's chewing gum.
Oh, his name is Chewing Gum?
No, gosh, hold on. So Gary Raub is his name, and he was a murderer who killed a 70-year-old woman in Augusta, Maine, named Blanche Kimball. When he entered her home,
what a suck to his Blanche
in 1976, Blanche Kimball fought her attacker off, but it was a losing battle. She was stabbed over a dozen times in her head and her chest. It took decades to solve this case, but Gary Raub was finally arrested for his crimes in October of 2012 when the police department in Augusta conducted a review and some lab tests which singled Raub out as the possible match for the DNA, making him a suspect. Raub had been held and questioned back in 1976, but it wasn't until DNA testing on blood found at Kimball's crime scene proved to be from a man that the focus was really narrowed down to, which was him. But he was living in Seattle at the time. So the police devised a genius ruse, a plan to trick this killer into submission. They held a fake experiment that involved chewing gum. And an undercover police officer got the now 63-year-old Rob to participate. They were able to extract DNA from the gum and match it to the blood found at the crime scene all the way back in 1976.
So they got him when he was in prison now.
No.
Recently.
He wasn't in prison. He was in Seattle. He was living in Seattle, and somehow they figured out exactly where he was, and they approached him for this experiment, but it was a fake experiment. And they got him to chew the gum. They kept the gum, and they tested it against the blood found at the crime scene from 1976.
He was 70 in 2012?
No, he was 63 in 2012.
I think he already lived his life. He's like, fuck it. Let's do this.
So he would be brought up on charges for the murder of Blanche Kimball because of this.
Oh, wow. That's actually pretty cool. Yes. That's seriously like the most simplistic way to catch somebody. Have you guys thought about it? We'll just do a fake experiment.
Try this.
Try some chewing gum.
It was juicy fruit. Can you tell us how long the flavor lasts? He's all done.
Would you like some Mentos? And the guy just swallows them. I was like, no, chewing gum, damn it.
So, I have an unusually cold case and an unusually long path that was necessary to catch a murderer. So way back in 1957, Maria Rodolphe was murdered in the middle of town. A man walked right up to her and her friend, gave her a piggyback ride, and then left. Maria would then go home to get some toys and was never seen alive again. Jack McCullough, AKA John Tessier, was the man. He was questioned but never charged with anything for lack of evidence. And in 1994, Jack McCullough's mother confessed on her deathbed that she had made a false alibi for Jack in 1957. His mother even implicated him in the crime, claiming that he did it. But the case wouldn't be reopened until 2008. Hey, Angie! What's up? We are talking about 10 very odd ways that murderers got caught. So, it wouldn't be reopened until 2008. Detectives pieced the puzzle together. They were forced to exhume her body, Maria Rodolphe, in 2011 in hopes of gathering evidence against McCullough. Their efforts paid off. Jack McCullough was brought to trial for the 1957 murder of Maria Rodolphe in 2012 and convicted. However, a judge dismissed the conviction in 2017.
Angie's all, what are we, pickled smokies?
No, what are pickled smokies?
Oh, what are pickled smokies?
Ask Mikey about that one.
I think it's a Southern thing. I don't know.
Mikey, please tell me you put them in the fridge even though they're in vinegar.
Mikey is making pickled smokies there right now.
They're little smokies.
They kind of look tasty.
I would try them.
I would. In a heartbeat.
All right, so
I think the only thing I wouldn't try though was the chicken heart stew that he made that one time.
I would try it.
I don't do heart.
No, I'd do it. I would do it because he learned it from his grandmama.
The heart of my enemies.
All right, so BTK. Yeah. So BTK, as you may know,
so annoyed with having to go back through and describe his crimes, confess in court for 3 hours.
Yep.
Well, then I just took her and I strangled them. And after that, I went and got some hot dogs from Wiener Schnitzel. And then I kind of went home and did some grocery shopping for a little bit.
All right. So BTK stands for bind, torture, kill. He was a BTK killer. His name was Dennis Rader. He was a serial killer from Wichita, Kansas, who would end up taking the lives of 10 people, including the Otero family in 1974.
The Otero family was his first
kill. Which was the beginning of his murderous rampage.
Oh, yeah. He went in there and just murdered the entire family. It was insane to think, because vast majority of serial killers do not start off that way. They start off small. He went right for a family the first time. So. Yep,
definitely.
Yep.
So, BTK started off by killing a family of 4, a mother, a father, and their 2 children, through the method that he would become famous for, binding the victims with rope, wire, or clothing, strangling them to the brink of death, then allowing them to regain consciousness, only to repeat the torture all over again.
The crazy thing is, we were talking about him for a minute there. He actually...
Hey,
one of his victims, he actually broke into their house. And I don't know how they found this out, but he went to go after her, and she was like, "I'll have sex with you. I don't care." And it literally threw him off somehow. I think it was probably from his confessions, so it threw him off because he wasn't expecting it.
Mm-hmm.
Like, so he didn't know what to do. It was like, dude, you just got what you wanted here.
You're like,
It just showed you how much of an asshole he was.
So Rader would evade police detection and capture for about 30 years, all while maintaining a facade of a perfectly happy, normal life, complete with marriage and church services. In October of 1974, after his first few killings had taken place, he began to write the authorities and local newspapers and the police and taunt them, referring to himself as BTK, which caused a media sensation and gained the serial killer the notoriety that he desired. In this exchange, Rader would send the IDs of his victims, articles of their clothing, drawings, letters, poems, other disturbing items to show off that he was, in fact, BTK. This would spark a 30-year game of cat and mouse between Rader and the police.
Oh, his letters were horrendous, too.
Oh, yeah. I think we read them in one of them.
Well, it was terrible, terrible grammar. And I'm sorry, man.
Well, his 10th and final murder would take place in 91, almost 20 years after the first killing.
The insane thing, then he was caught in 2003 or no, 2005, there it is. And yeah, he was able to not, he went actually for a while. He had a huge cooling down period.
Well, yeah, but so he was a free man roaming around uncaptured, you know. He fell largely silent until one fateful day in 2005, BTK decided to spontaneously send another letter to the police. Only this time, he went digital. Having been a notable member of his church and president of the Congregation Council, he used a floppy disk
in 2005
on the church's computer to write his soon-to-be captors. In 2004, a 1.44 megabyte floppy disk arrived in a padded envelope at the Fox station at KSAS TV. Now, I gotta say, it probably took them about a year to find something that still utilized a floppy disk.
Well, in 2004, 2005, or whenever it was, yeah, they were still around a little bit, but
not like,
for the most part, they just ripped and burned everything to CDs at the time. And now there's no CDs or anything. It's just everything's digital.
Yeah, so, well, unbeknownst to Rader, the police were able to extract the metadata off the disk and determine where it was from. They were able to discover that it was last edited at Christ Lutheran Church, and the metadata even showed that the document contained on the disk was last edited by somebody named Dennis. So Rader was arrested on February 25th, 2005. Police had also taken DNA samples from his daughter to match to the crime scenes, a technology which wasn't available or even advanced through almost the entirety of his killings career. Dennis Rader would be tried, confess, and would end up in prison for his crimes, where he will spend the rest of his life. Kansas did not reinstate the death penalty until after he was committed, after 91, when his crimes were committed. And thus, even though Kansas had the death penalty at the time of his capture, the state gave him 10 life sentences instead.
It's insane. And we talk about like how his wife didn't. She was like, I didn't know anything. It was like, dude, you were hit with him the entire time. You knew something was going on here.
Oh, yeah.
So
it's just crazy.
Commercial?
Yeah, and then we'll get into Peter Curtin.
We got to get into Joseph Kallinger now.
Well, we're almost done with this. Look at literally just a few.
I say we read one more. We'll do Joseph Kallinger. We can save the rest for another night.
Okay.
Yep.
Well, we're going to go to commercial real fast, and we'll be right back. Let me find the commercial.
I don't know. I moved it all around. I'm sorry.
Why did you move
This
things?
is the proper ad. There you go.
We'll be back.
This is Mikey from Out of the Ordinary, and you're watching PBDC TV.
Oh, hi! First thing in the morning, when I'm listening to music and getting a little bit of time for some creepy research, I'm always representing with my PBDC merch. What a better way to have a cup of coffee in the morning.
Don't forget to check out our other cool merch at rootsbleedred.com. That's rootsbleedred.com.
This is Professor Edgar Fluffosaurus from Spooky Tales with Steve the Cat, and when I'm not hosting Monster Chat or knocking down small Japanese cities, I'm watching PBDC TV. Now back to the show.
Hey.
Hey, how are you doing? So, guys, we got the Nightmare Clowns in the house now. Thank you guys for joining us. And let's dive back into this.
Oh, hey, Henry.
What's up? It's good to see
Henry.
you, too.
Like the
Cool dinosaur, right?
dinosaur.
All right, so I think that we will stop. Oh, well.
We can do the other half.
But there's a really cool one.
I know. We can save it for next time.
Okay. So let's just save this. Whatever. Just got to favorite.
There you go.
And let's get into our
Joeseph.
actual subject here.
Joeseph Kallinger.
Joseph.
Hey, Joeseph.
It's Joseph.
Hey, yo.
Hey, Dizzy, what's up? Hey. Hello.
Hello.
So, yeah, again, guys, go check out the Nightmare Clowns. They're awesome. They're always supporting us, and we will definitely always support them. They are awesome. We love them. So let's get into this. So Joeseph Kallinger. Kallinger. Whatever.
That's like
Born
it's
Joseph Lee Brenner the
Actually,
third.
I'm sorry, it's Austrian. His Austrian
We haven't got there yet.
they adopted him.
We haven't got there yet. So he was born Joseph Lee Brenner III on December 11th, 1935. He was an American serial killer who murdered 3 people and tortured 4 families. He committed the later crimes with his 12-year-old son, Michael.
You know the crazy thing with his, I don't know, this just popped in my head. His date of birth, he was in that grace period because he was 18 and he just missed the draft for Korea. And then because he got too old for Vietnam, he didn't have to serve or anything like that.
So his early life, Kallinger was born on December 11th, 1935. And in Northern Liberties Hospital in Philadelphia, in Pennsylvania, to Joseph Lee Brenner Jr. and his wife Judith.
West Philadelphia, born and raised.
Anyway,
on a playground where he spent
in December of 1937, the child was placed in foster care after his family his father had abandoned his mother. And on October 15, 1939, he was adopted by Austrian immigrants Stephen and Anna Kallinger. He was abused by both his adoptive parents so severely that at the age of 6, he suffered a hernia inflicted by his adoptive father.
Actually, that is actually inaccurate.
Okay.
Those notes are actually slightly wrong. The hernia actually came from a little girl. What happened was when he was a kid, and I got to go in the back here. When he was a little kid, his parents did severely abuse him and stuff like that because they wanted to make sure he wasn't evil and all this other stuff. he was adopted for the sole purpose of making shoes. This is where he's called the shoemaker. He's actually he was one of the best shoemakers in Philadelphia. No joke. So they brought him in for that. One of the things was he went out to a little girl actually ended up kicking him in the groin, which caused a hernia. And
what's that?
This area. It was this area where she kicked him. She was in pain. Hey, Star!
Hey, Star! Thank you so much, and we're definitely going to.
Awesome. He came back and told his mother, or his foster or adopted mother, whatever happened, that this happened. They actually punished him.
They beat his ass.
They punished him, made him go upstairs and go to bed because they thought it was actually his fault. And after 3 or 4 days of him being in pain, that's when they took him to the hospital. They told him, we are going to remove the demon from your penis. That's exactly what his parents told him. And when the surgery was over with, they told him the demon in your penis is gone. And why did I say it like that?
I don't know. I do not know.
The demon in your penis. The demon in your genitals is gone, and you will forever have a small, flaccid penis. Told this to a 6-year-old boy.
That's lovely. Well, so the punishments that he had to endure included things like kneeling on jagged rocks, being locked inside closets, consuming excrement. And you heard that right. He was forced to eat shit. Committing self-injury, being burned with irons, being whipped with belts, and being starved. And when he was 9, he was sexually assaulted by a group of neighbor boys.
He had a place where he could actually go find solace and get away from everything while he was doing errands and stuff like that. And when he went there one day, there was a group of boys there, and they
sexually assaulted him.
It was Iramatio.
Yeah.
Yeah. It was pretty bad.
You know, I forgot to put this up. So let's do this. We might be far past it, but trigger warning, guys. Explicit content. Warning. No, that's not awesome.
Yeah, this is not a good one.
The related content may be disturbing to some individuals. Viewer discretion is advised. And because I hadn't said it yet, under the fair use, another author may make limited use of the original author's work without asking permission. Pursuant to 17 U.S. Code 107, certain uses of copyrighted material for purposes such as criticism, comment, news reporting, teaching, including multiple copies for classroom use, scholarship, or research is not an infringement on copyright. But again, viewer discretion is advised. So let's get in here. So as a child, Kallinger often rebelled against his teachers and his parents. He dreamed of becoming a playwright. He had played the part of Ebenezer Scrooge at the local YWCA's performance of A Christmas Carol in the 9th grade.
Did well at it too.
He did really well. When Kallinger was 15, he began dating a girl named Hilda Bergman, whom he met at a theater which he was allowed to visit on Saturdays. His parents told him not to see her, but he married her and had 2 children with her. She later left him because of domestic violence that he would beat her. He would beat her. Kallinger was hospitalized at...
Sorry, I almost died. Swallowed wrong.
You okay there?
Yep.
All right. So Kallinger was hospitalized at St. Mary's on September 4th, 1957 due to severe headaches and loss of appetite, which doctors believed was due to stress from his divorce. I don't really know what happened from that, but
when he was a kid, though, he actually did start showing signs of schizophrenia. And then in his teens, it went away, but this is when the stress brought it back on.
So he again remarried a year later, on April 20th, 1958, had 5 children with the second wife. So he has 7 kids, guys. He was extremely abusive towards his family and often inflicted the same punishments on them that were inflicted on him as a child.
Yeah.
So throughout the next decade, he would spend time in and out of mental institutions for amnesia, attempted suicide, and committing arson.
The punishments, though, that he enacted on these people, it was more along the lines of on his kids. It was more along the lines of it was the hallucinations telling them to do it.
Yeah,
something like that. God was telling, or the devil was telling them to do it. So
wasn't there something? Oh gosh, I'm remembering something about him that we had listened to before, where it was something about him lining up his kids in the room.
No, that was someone else. I think that was
who was that?
Fred and Rose.
No, that wasn't Rosemary.
No, they did do that.
I mean, they did stuff like that, but the one I'm thinking of, I thought it was him.
No. He did try not to abuse his kids,
mm-hmm.
but like I said, it was the hallucinations, the schizophrenia that was telling him to abuse his kids, to discipline them.
Who is the one that his kids wrapped him up in that he was abusing his kids, and his kids wrapped him up in the carpet?
Oh, that was the gray man. Albert Fish.
Oh, it was. Okay.
They didn't wrap him up in the carpet. He wrapped himself up in the carpet, and he actually never. Albert Fish actually never abused his kids. Never, not once.
Okay.
It was just other people's kids that he abused and killed and ate. But his own kids, he did weird shit with them, but he never once
like burritoing himself.
It was stuff like that. Like well, okay. The weird thing with him was the one murder that the murder that he committed was against a little girl, which he didn't. You can kind of say that he didn't want to do it because he kept the whole reason why he was really punishing himself was because of that. He felt ashamed because of it. So he kept the whole like rolling himself up in the carpet. This was years after he killed these people, or this girl, and then like later on, it finally came out. He was ashamed of it. He did not want to kill her, but he just had to.
Yeah, definitely. No, it was just for some reason I was thinking of that just now.
Yeah.
Okay, I'm back. Sorry, I had to respond to something. All right. If I wrap myself in a blanket, I'm a burrito. I burrito myself in blankets, don't I?
Yeah.
I have one of those weighted blankets.
20 pounds. Is it 20 pounds?
22 pounds.
Yeah.
And my dad's giving me a 22-pound one too.
I don't like them.
And I don't like it when you put your arm on it because it makes me feel claustrophobic.
I don't like it one bit because I feel like it's just too much.
I have a tendency of burritoing myself in my blanket.
I like covers to be heavy and hold me still, but at the same time, I want to feel like I can move.
It makes me feel it's just a hug. It's a giant hug.
I'm big and fat, so I'm also
you are not.
Then I can't breathe.
I can't breathe. All right, guys. Sorry. So now we're getting into his criminal career. Kallinger was arrested and imprisoned in 1972 when his children went to the police. While in jail, he had scored an 82 on the IQ test and was diagnosed with paranoid schizophrenia. And the state psychiatrist recommended that he be supervised with his family. The children later recanted their allegations.
When he was supposed to be he was actually supposed to go and be for the next like 3 or 4 years, he was supposed to have psych evaluations once a week.
Mm-hmm.
And he went into to his psych appointment for the first time, and they only saw him for like a few minutes, 5 minutes, and then they turned around and said, "Well, you're good. See you later. Don't have to come back."
And because of that, 2 years later, one of his children,
he ended up killing one of his sons.
Joseph Jr. was found dead in an abandoned construction building 2 weeks after he took out a large life insurance policy on his children.
Yeah.
And so Kallinger claimed that Joseph had run away from home, and the insurance company suspected foul play, so refused to pay out. Beginning in November of 1974, Kallinger and his 12-year-old son, Michael, went on a crime spree spanning Philadelphia, Baltimore, and New Jersey. Over the next 6 weeks, they robbed, assaulted, sexually abused 4 families, gaining entrance into each house by pretending to be salesmen.
We have to actually bring this up, though. The thing with his son, his kids didn't go to school. They were actually pretty terrible because of how they were raised. But he'll tell you, if you watch his interviews and stuff like that, or there's a documentary and stuff like that on him, even in this book that what's her face Sybil wrote.
Yeah,
who wrote Sybil? She wrote his book, The Shoemaker, I think it was called. He'll say in there that his son was a willing participant and stuff like that, but the reality of it was his 12-year-old son was afraid for his life.
Her name's Flora Rita Shriver.
There you go. He was afraid for his life.
Yeah,
and she tried to contact him to get more information, like on for the book and stuff like that. But we're gonna get to that.
We're gonna get to that.
Yeah, his son was not a willing participant in this. It was just he was a 12-year-old boy along and had a witness. In his father's mind, everything was fine, and he's people can understand that he's just doing this. Actually, even going into and committing the crimes that they did, he was polite about it.
Mm-hmm.
He just he in his head they just don't understand that I have to do this.
Yeah. So on January 8th, 1975, they continued their spree in Leonia, New Jersey. Using a pistol and a knife, they overpowered and tied up 3 residents. Then, when others entered the home, they were forced to strip and were bound with cords from lamps and other various appliances. This culminated in the killing of 21-year-old nurse Maria Fashing, the 8th person to arrive. When she refused to follow the orders that Kallinger gave her, he responded by stabbing her in the neck and the back. Another of the residents, still bound, managed to get outside and cry for help. Neighbors saw her and called the police. By the time they arrived, the Kallingers had fled, using the city bus as their getaway vehicle, and dumping their weapons and the bloody shirts along the way.
Which is what got him caught.
Yes.
The shirt, not the weapons.
So, police investigated Kallinger after gathering the bloody shirt and eyewitness testimony that he and his son had been seen in the area. They soon found out about Kallinger's history of domestic violence and Joseph Jr. series of arsons targeted against buildings that he owned. So Kallinger and his son were arrested on kidnapping and rape charges. Kallinger was eventually charged with 3 counts of murder for his son Joseph, for Maria Fashing, and a neighborhood boy. Kallinger pled insanity, claiming God told him to kill.
Now, Kallinger is very much like Richard Chase, and I'm actually going to quote last podcast on the left here. If Richard Chase had a great work ethic, he would be Joseph Kallinger, because that's what he did. He literally was. They're both just equally as insane. The thing what they understand here.
Hey, Shelby.
Hey. The thing we understand here with Joseph Kallinger is that yes, he did understand he was doing wrong.
He didn't care.
It had nothing to do with doing. It wasn't exactly not caring. He felt he was doing what God told him to do.
Right That is crazy.
Yeah.
Absolutely. So he was found sane and competent to stand trial. And he was sentenced to life in prison.
He was
on October 14th, 1976.
But after a few years in prison, they put him in a psych ward. I'm sorry.
We're almost there.
I'm sorry.
So, and Michael was deemed to have been under his father's control. And so he was sentenced to reformatory. And upon his release at 21, he moved out of the state, changed his name. While in prison, Kallinger made several suicide attempts, including attempting to set himself on fire. Mm-hmm. Because of his suicidal and violent behavior, he was then transferred to a mental hospital in Trenton, New Jersey.
Well,
he was then, after that, transferred to another mental hospital in Philadelphia on May 18th of 1979.
The crazy thing with him,
we are doing wonderful.
Oh,
Thank you for asking. I hope you're doing well too.
The crazy thing with him is even with all the meds they were trying to get him on, and this is the 70s, like they didn't have a lock on. They belong in the asylum. They're crazy. Yeah, they do.
Absolutely.
They didn't have a lock on, the proper meds to give him, so that he was still, while highly medicated, still having schizophrenic delusions and stuff like that.
Well, and that's the thing. Okay, so for the record, we are not talking negatively about anybody who has any mental disorders.
The vast majority of people who have bipolar, schizophrenic, even borderline personality disorder, all that stuff, sociopaths, psychopaths, the vast majority of them do not murder. None of it. It's only this small percentage of it. The vast majority of all serial killers are borderline personality disorder. All of them are. But not everyone who has it is a killer.
Damn it. Don't give it away, dude.
I know, right?
I love you guys. I'm so glad you're doing awesome. He likes to jump ahead of things.
Well, when we bring
it, really excited.
When I get the notes on everything like that, I already know a lot about it. And I have a pretty good memory when it comes to this stuff. I don't know. It's all the morbid facts. It's weird. Was it not more? Would I say morbidity? Do I like morbidity?
We like weird things. I
like dark.
Like learning what makes people tick.
The crazy thing is, if you actually ever hang out with me, I'm actually bubbly. but I will literally go off on
we will talk about
black metal and death metal and Satanism
in a cheery manner. We will talk about this morbid stuff, which we do, and you get to see it all the time here. Again, guys, like, follow, share, smash that bell. Make sure that you get to watch us be weird while talking about morbid shit.
All right, we're almost done.
So Flora Rheta Schreiber, the author of the best-selling book Sybil, interviewed Kallinger in jail in 1976. The interview was the basis for a book on the case, which was published by Simon and Schuster under the title The Shoemaker, The Anatomy of a Psychotic. And this was published in 1983. This book was later part of a Son of Sam lawsuit brought by one of the victims' families, as Kallinger received royalties for the book.
He's received 12% royalties or something like that.
Yeah.
You can actually, the book is out of print, but you can actually still go find it used somewhere. And from what they were saying, it's actually a pretty good book.
Well, so a judge awarded the family earnings from not only Kallinger, but Schreiber and the publishers as well, leaving Schreiber nearly in $100,000 in personal debt due to the expenses of the book's research, including phone calls to Kallinger in prison, which totaled about $1,200 per month for several years. Mm-hmm. Later, an appellate panel awarded only Kallinger's royalties to the families. So Michael Korda, editor of Simon & Schuster, said that for many years he received a Christmas card from Kallinger from jail. And Schreiber herself grew very close to Kallinger during the writing process. And the two exchanged regular letters and phone calls until Schreiber's death in 1988. So Joseph Kallinger died of heart failure on March 26 in 1996 at SCI Crescent. He spent the last 11 years of his life on suicide watch.
And I think the last few years he was in solitary confinement within the mental ward.
Thank you so much.
Thank you. Because he was constantly attacking not inmates. What are they called in the psych ward?
I don't know.
But the other members, the other people in the psych ward, he was constantly attacking them.
Patients.
There you go. Even going as far as to trying to slit their throats, all this other stuff, and like it was literally they literally just put him aside.
Sorry, buddy, you can't be with the rest of the peoples. You know what? We have a few minutes. I'm going to read one more of these.
Okay.
We have a few minutes. 5 minutes. I want to go into one of these here.
That's the Vampire Dusseldorf. We already read it. We actually should revisit him.
We've already done this one too. So let's talk about Joseph D'Angelo, who was the original Night Stalker. He's also the Golden State Killer. So, like Dennis Rader, Joseph D'Angelo would get away with murder for a very long time. Throughout the 70s and 80s in California, the man, then only known as the Golden State Killer, committed at least 12 murders and at least 50 rapes.
Was
the monster
a cop at one time too?
Yeah.
I think so, yeah.
I was getting to that.
Oh, I'm sorry.
The monster would evade capture for decades until 2018, when authorities would finally be able to link him to his crimes using the latest in DNA technologies with one other aid: a genealogy website.
He wanted to find out with 23andMe or whatever it's called.
No,
23andMe.
it was his daughter, I think.
What?
So people who submit their DNA for testing by genealogy websites online have much less freedom and security with their DNA, or even their family's DNA, as opposed to DNA databases. Police were able to track him through an ancestry website and were able to find him at his home and obtain a DNA sample, which they then linked to the crime scene that he'd left behind. This ended a 40-year chase. And the real kicker? He was a police officer during the time of the murders and the rapes.
Yep. Well,
the Russian bots are back!
Aren't you supposed to be fighting right now in like the Ukraine or something like that? What? What the hell are you doing here, Russian bots?
What the hell?
Block it.
Anyway.
Wait. Hey, yo, dog, you need to block that right now. Two books. I have terrible grammar. I don't know how I wrote that shit. Fucking idiot.
Is he having a brain fart? Yes, he is having a brain fart. We all have brain farts.
Well,
so yeah,
condoms. No.
We're gonna save condoms.
We're gonna save condoms and saliva and dating app for the next. That's recent. The dating app one is recent.
Oh,
that's
but there is also the letter, which we've already talked about.
The letter was from the Vampire Dusseldorf, which he
Dusseldorf. All right, guys. So thank you all for joining us tonight. We have some great stuff coming up.
Well, we could let people in on the backside here. We had
we had some ex-members come after us.
We had some ex-members come after us, and we had our accounts, our personal accounts.
The one that I've had since,
we had 2009. Natalie, all of us, all of the admins of Psycho Bunny.
So pictures of my dead friends, pictures of my dead family members,
our business opportunities and stuff like that. This was taken by a screenshot on this because we're on our actual platforms right now. We won't name names, but when it comes to our personal pages, we're gonna name names.
Mm-hmm.
But the reason why there was a pause and stuff like that is because that shit happened. And we had to create new accounts and stuff like that. Get things going.
I didn't create a new account. I just happened to have one for my family that I already worked with. But my issue is, guys, if you're pissed off at somebody because you left their network because you were fucking drunk,
yeah,
you have no right to go after their personal stuff. This is where I was making money. This is where some of us were actually making money. You went after our business. I will come after you.
Well, you went after our livelihood, is what it was.
You went after my livelihood, and I will make sure that I get that money made up. Anyway, I love you guys. He loves you guys. We appreciate all of you. Not you guys, but you. Thank you so much for joining us tonight. We really appreciate it. And we will see you on Sunday. We are going to be talking about Keith Rainier like we were supposed to.
Well, Hexes and... A call will be.
Oh, yeah. Well, we'll get a Ka in here and Hexus, and they will actually be taking over for us.
Yeah.
But yeah, thank you so much for joining us tonight. Let's go with the old school ad. Bye.
Bye.
I don't know, set the world on fire. I don't know, in my